Good evening, guys. Good evening, humans. Good evening, especially non-humans. Today's little chat related to your very scientific crap that you are spreading through the past and at the present moment. Through a very fake education system, through your indoctrination system, through the money. So, scientific fact, it's to me absolutely scientific crap. There's nothing factious in the science, but it's a lot of non-factual things right there. They're presenting them as such. So did you ever consider why? Did you ever ask yourself, who are these freaks to tell you what is a fact and what it could be just a complete imagination or invention of somebody in a field that was completely justified by betterment than everybody else? The only special kind of well-educated ones can fit there, and they can lead the scientific groups. They can do scientific experiments, some very non-humane, but most of them are very unhumane. You think the experiments are done only on animals? The experiments are only done on genetic code of vegetables, corn, and so on. No. Every single aspect of living beings here on the planet was attempted to be modified to fit their needs. There, I accompany to the dark entities who present themselves as a bankers, as a lawyers, as a doctors, as a scientists. So when you see a scientist claiming, I'm a scientist, my dear friend, run and don't go into discussion, because this discussion will not end up good for you. So today's title, when science moves or hides behind the facts, nothing left. So, to me, scientific approach, totally non-humane. Scientific approach is only there to control. Scientific approach is only here, still on the planet, in big numbers, to impose a fake reality over a human. Human who's supposed to use these lifetimes here on planet to wake up in his own humanity. But scientific core or scientific crowd did everything to prevent this. So you're wondering why? Why why these scientists don't want to be, to be on service to humanity? Well, simply because they think they're better than you. They're better than me. They think they are more educated than you. Educated in the quotes. Or let's say more programmed than you. So honestly, rare inventor of a new approach, of a new paradigm, were never scientists. They are just common people who are mechanics, technicians, nurses, nuns. These are the new, call it, inventors of a new system where we heading towards where humanity goes first and then everything else goes behind, and to be at the service to humanity. So why scientific crowds are imposing such a technological or technologically driven environments? Everything is done through a technology. nobody is mentioning, but at least not out loud, nobody is mentioning God. Nobody is mentioning your own spirit. Nobody is mentioning a power of soul who become aware. Yes, body consists of elements, minerals, water, whatever. But what is holding all these micro elements together? What is the energy that is holding it together? Yeah, scientists don't want to even come close to this point. They're talking osmosis, inside pressure, outside pressure, electromagnetic attraction, spin of the atoms and neurons, protons, cryptons, any kind of they inventing. But nobody is actually mentioning a true and intrinsic source of all of it that is holding it together. I'm talking scientific core. We'll talk about religious core when we talk about. So, when you're listening to these scientific freaks, what they are bringing up to you? Oh, we have invention of a new, let's say, vaccine. They will cure AIDS in 27 years, but it will make sick everybody now. Another couple of 100 million people will get infected with many other diseases because they are receiving a cure for some, again, invented disease. Nature by itself is the most beneficial healer. When you live in the resonance with the nature, you get better. When you go against, you're definitely getting worse. You're getting older, you're getting less capable to do anything but to follow the rules of these scientists. Scientists, I bring everything together. Pharmaceuticals, medical, the technology freaks, the genetic freaks, like biological freaks, and so on. And they're scientists, they present themselves as scientists of the history. So what are they doing? They're manipulating even your so-called knowledge of the history, or knowledge of the axioms from some old Pythagorean rule, or Plato's so-and-so. Yes, maybe, but it's all related. All this mathematics are related to material, very, very low density world. And what we're trying to do, and what we actually here for, to transcend into the world when we don't need technology, when we don't need genetic manipulation, where we don't need anybody to tell us where the God is, and where we don't need, especially, to kill each other and to kill, let's say, for the food or for the profit, or to kill animal to sustain our physical body. What if I tell you that this is absolutely simple? You can feed yourself from the universal source energy, which is floating around all the time. There are many people already start being very, very vocal and open the way how they live. One of them that I met personally, I spent some time with him, Victor Truviano. Beautiful, beautiful soul. Doesn't eat, doesn't drink. Now it's probably 9 years, as he was telling us. So, and I've absolutely vouched that this is true. So how this is possible on any scientific platform? He's freak of nature. No, he is the one who's very close to the nature. And we all others who still consuming, let's say you who consuming flesh of other animals, who's consuming energy from your cousins, family members, your countrymen, by being angry, by being aggressive, by being afraid, you are nothing else but a vampire of the energy. So, where and when this absolutely stupendous scientific core, which is huge, when are they going to admit they completely missed the boat? Or what's the best expression? They completely missed the plot. They're just there to put the wool over your eyes so you will not even look into this direction. You'll just believe that whatever they come up to you, it must be true because it's coming from somebody very, very stupendously educated with PhD, F, and C, whatever titles they give to themselves, and they're announcing, oh, here's the Nobel Prize. The Nobel, the guy who, or whatever, his foundation who was giving these phony awards, is nothing else but the war-mongering dude. The guy who controlled 80% of explosive manufacturing in his life. Okay. So, you want to tell me that this kind of freak has right to give an award for peace, for technological development, for biological development, for the best surgeon, best crap? Who's the best humanitarian in last how many years? Who received it? None. Martin Luther King received it as a reward for the peace. Peace of what? Peace of his soul? Peace of their own mind, so if they give somebody like him an award, so they can continue doing their own dirty work in the background. That's what I've done. So look around. Do you have anybody in the family that are aspiring to become a scientist? Young kids or younger fellas? Do you have anybody who's closely related with very high technologically driven companies? Look at them and feel them. Do you feel a humanity inside of them? Why they're actually posing this threat towards humanity by developing robots, by developing hybrids, by developing genetic modified creatures. There nothing human is within them. So facts or fiction, to me, anything from the scientific fiction is useless, because they are trying to prove something that it doesn't exist. First they have to create a problem, and then they'll have your reaction and they'll give you a solution. David Icke telling this on and on for tens of years. How come somebody who, let's say Albert Einstein or Schopenhauer or these kind of freaks who develop the most disturbing weapon on planet to kill in an instant, in a matter of a couple of seconds, it can wipe out and not only destroy material beings, it can damage the soul, energetic structure of the soul. And this was the reason why this atomic bomb was developed. Consider next time when you boasting about my son is this, my daughter went to Yale or Berkeley or whatever university that you think it's prestigious. It is a bunch of ego crap that you've been fed, and you continue supporting this agenda that little humanity will be wiped out, what is left within. So please do not allow that this humanity, what is left, goes.